Oh, any mention of Jordan's of not using Jordan's lyrics against him?
Yes, actually. Oh, great point. That was not mentioned in court, but you may have told your viewers, I don't know, but a decision came down I got it last night, late last night, saying that, Jordan's lyrics cannot be used against him. There was a 14-page decision by the judge that laid it out. That decision quoted a ton of rappers, quoted, Ice Cube, and it mentioned Future, and it quoted Kendrick Lamar, and mentioned Ice Spice, and talked about, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, The Message. Like, it was a very long opinion that I actually really enjoyed reading. But ultimately it came down on Jordan's side, saying you cannot use his rap lyrics. And just to take one example, one of the reasons the prosecution wanted to use it was that one of the songs made reference to shooting someone in the head. Let me see if I can find the exact
Take your time. Go ahead.
thing here. Okay, so there were two songs the government wanted to introduce. One was called Aim for the Head. One was called Silver Spoon, right? Aim for the Head is about shooting people in the head. And Jay was shot in the head. So the government's basically saying, look, this is not just rap lyrics, right? This is like him rapping about something that he actually did. And the judge said, effectively, she said, well, look, that's kind of generic rap violent talk, right? There are plenty of songs where rappers talk about shooting people in the head, even though they didn't literally shoot people in the head, right? It's kind of, she mentioned, Ice Cube mentioned it on a song, Schoolboy Q, Vince Staples, whatever, all talk about shooting people in the head. And so this is, Jordan was rapping generally. He wasn't rapping about a specific shooting. The second song was about drug distribution. It was about like drug dealing, and basically the government saying, look, Jordan's role as a drug dealer was sort of the underlying thing that caused this murder. And again, the judge is saying, look, rappers talk about drug dealing all of the time. She says Jordan's lyrics are simply too imprecise. They're not about a specific drug deal. They're not about a specific incident, they're not saying my friend cut me out of a $1.7 million drug deal. It's just sort of generic talk, right? So, yeah. So she is saying, look, if someone raps about a specific crime, sure, that could be used against them, but these are not specific, so we can't use them.
Right.
I should mention that there is a great book called Rap on Trial that actually is about these exact issues, by Eric Nielsen and Andrea Dennis. And I've talked to Eric Nielsen about this, and I respect him a great deal. Mm-hmm. Scholar and author who's testified in a lot of trials about rap lyrics.
Right.
Eric Nielsen's attitude is, look, even if the rap song is about a specific crime, it's still, the lyrics still shouldn't be allowed. Like, let the police get other evidence. Let them, they shouldn't have to rely on songs. So that is, and I see a lot of merit in that attitude, honestly, given, the history of art and race and genre all sort of tied up in the use of rap lyrics on trial.
Right.
But that's not how the judge sees it. This judge sees it in a more standard way of like, if the lyrics are specific, they can be used. If they're not, then we can't use them. And these Carl Jordan's lyrics don't meet that specific threshold, so we can't use them.
I'm kind of surprised because, regarding other cases that's going on, they are using artists' lyrics against them. Mm-hmm. you know, I guess you know, it depends maybe of the state or whoever. You know, I guess, but it just reminds me as well as like Young Thug, as well as what happened in Texas case. He wanted to use something he said on his podcast that didn't enter court. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, right now it's at a stage where it's sort of up to each judge, right?
Right.
Each judge decides, is it probative, meaning like, does it have specific value for this case? Or is it just like general artistic expression? So judges can have different thresholds for that. I mean, you remember the Tekashi case, right? The judge would allow like 1 or 2 lines from a song and then cut the rest out, right?
Right.
He did that with like Gummo, I think, and some other songs. He'd allow like some stuff, but not other stuff. You know, the funny thing, the Tekashi case was the judge was basically like, these lyrics are so awful, they're so sexist and terrible, they're going to prejudice the jury against him. We can't let them hear it. Right? So he ended up cutting out a lot of stuff that the government wanted to include at first, basically telling the government, you would hurt your own case.
I remember what was even funnier in the Tekashi case. I think, was it the judge who started reciting the lyrics at one point?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. There were some great moments like that. I remember that the judge got super pissed at Kuda, actually, as did the government, for after he'd served his time.
Right.
Or no, actually, while he was out on bond, actually, before he was sentenced for rapping about gang-related stuff. That really ticked them off.